Hello and welcome to Blog Tornado. How are you? And today we're going to talk about the reptilian race and how this all ties into Illuminati symbol. And today I'm going to reveal some things that you might actually find very interesting. So please stay with me throughout this video so you understand what's going on that actually might be quite freaky. So again, what might happen throughout this video is basically that you might see the reality we live in a totally different way, and rather than being reality that we're used to, you might think of it on the end of this video more like a sci-fi show, and you want to find out whether I'm telling the truth or not. So please stay with me until the end of the video to understand what do I mean, and then ask yourself what really is going on here. Well, as you know, it pretty much all starts with something simple as Illuminati symbol on one American dollar bill, okay? Again, it's not on a $20 bill, $50 or $100 bill. It's basically on one American dollar bill, which is a very common amount. And as you know, it looks very strange, and it brings a lot of questions. So what the heck is this meaning of this symbol right on government money? And what that tells you is just how deep the rabbit hole goes, okay? That it's actually part of the government, and it's deeply seated inside American government. Now, let's bring up a person conspiracy theorist who kind of specializes in this particular reptilian race, who he talks about them being simply controlling the government and our society, and we can find them in the top of the food chain. So and also he talks about how Illuminati or reptilians are part of the Illuminati, or are the Illuminati. I do have a different vision of what Illuminati symbol actually represents, which to me is a little bit more logical, but so that's why I think that David Icke might not be on the right track necessarily, but let me explain my point of view, and then you can judge from there. So well, I talk about something interesting in my blog at blogtornado.com. In the UFO section, there's an article I wrote about UFO and orb phenomena. Now, that article talks about my experience with orbs phenomena, and I'm quite sure you know by now what orbs are, or at least saw some footage on YouTube or whatnot. But what really is going on, and what is the connection to this Illuminati symbol with orbs? Well, look at this, okay? Now, please stay with me to understand what's going on and how deep the rabbit hole goes here, and I want you to focus with me on this. Pay attention, because it might actually surprise you, and you will be asking yourself questions. What is going on here? Well, let's discuss about how orbs relate to Illuminati symbol, and why do I think it actually represents orbs. Well, simple, okay? When you look at Illuminati symbol, and let's start off saying that Illuminati basically means illuminating light, okay? And you can see lines of light on each side of the pyramid when you look at a Illuminati symbol, okay? Now, orbs pretty much do the same thing. They illuminate light. And not just that, but you can see that the upper part of the pyramid in this symbol, it's actually detached from the rest of the pyramid, and it's hovering in the air, okay? So that can be easily related to orbs because they also hover in the air. Now we see these orbs flying around in the sky as if they're watching us or something, and they've been with us throughout the history. And as you know, the eye, the all-seeing eye, the eye of providence, e pluribus unum, above all none, you can clearly see there's an eye, which means there's intelligence behind the symbol of some sort. And I strongly believe that orbs are actually watching us, as I said, and which brings up another question. Are we some sort of an experiment, or why are they watching us? Why are they with us throughout history? And I feel like there's a tie, a strong tie to this, to the U.S. government, and there's some connection there that goes much deeper than we think, okay? Because that symbol is basically saying one thing. Okay, well, and I hope you're staying with me here to get this out of the way. So basically, and as you know, Block Tornado, I'm trying to decode things, trying to get to the bottom of things in a way that kind of makes sense, that has some little bit of logic in it at least. And I'll explain to you what really is going on with this. It's pretty much saying, well, you know, the currency, the paper that symbolizes $1, $1 American dollar bill, that's yours. The ink on your American dollar bill, the green, that's also yours. But wait a minute, we putting our stamp on it on top of the government, which is the Illuminati symbol on, you know, and that just says that perhaps that U.S. government is actually being controlled by some unknown force here. And that's what David Icke talks about. He talks about reptilians and how they are part of the Illuminati and how they control our society, and you know, they're trying to keep our population at certain numbers, and that's his theory on that. So although I'm thinking there is actually orbs who are behind it. Now let me explain something here, simple. And please stay with me again. And this is what's going on. Okay, there was a news report, I believe it's actually from Canada, and some people got this footage, and they talk about, they don't actually show what happened previously, but just they show the actual, what it looks like an alien in the snow. But the thing is, previously they saw some orange light that or some bright fiery light that was actually falling down in the forests, and as they got close to it, they later on found this alien that supposedly I guess fell from the UFO, or has some connection to it. Once they went to inspect what happened, they found that alien. I will leave the link from YouTube below, but stay with me first so we can get deeper into understanding what the heck is going on here. So I think that behind those orbs are actually some sort of aliens, which we can't see, maybe because they're being camouflaged with some sort of whatever technology they have. They become invisible, but I believe behind the orbs there are aliens. And that's the whole thing that this footage kind of talks about, that, which later on the newscaster turns it into saying it's being a chicken, which the lady newscaster just couldn't believe what he said, which kind of totally it's off topic what's going on, but I guess they tried to cover it up. Okay, so that's what's so interesting about this, and what I'm trying to say is basically there's some kind of aliens that are behind the orbs. And again, if this is connected to Illuminati symbol, which I explained to you why I think it's orbs, then perhaps behind the government there could be some kind of alien race, or some kind of alien race that's controlling our government, the U.S. government. And as you know, it's very unusual to see that symbol on a government money, and it must be saying something that we just don't understand. But it sticks out like a sore thumb, just like pyramids do. And as you know, the Illuminati symbol also shows the pyramid. So, and this is why this is so strange, because this UFO orb phenomena go way back into Second World War and with Foo Fighters and so forth. But what is strange that makes our reality that we live in now almost like a sci-fi movie, okay? Because of those orbs flying up in the air. And let me explain a little bit about what orbs are, if you haven't have experience seeing one. So basically, what they do is simply change colors from white to orange. That's their method of communicating, I suppose. And they don't show blue lights, they don't show green lights, they don't show yellow and so forth. The most common color most likely will be orange. So when you see orange color associated with the video that you're watching, it could be that it's authentic. But let me give you a little bit more, so stay with me, what else you should be looking for, okay? And I'm speaking from experience, so I will show you the footage down below, and you can have a look and understand, or read my story on my blog. And then next thing you know, they like to separate themselves from the main orb. They will multiply, so you will see more orbs come out of the main orb. Okay, we cannot replicate that with drones these days, and this happened 30 years ago, where I saw it. And then they're able to multiply like that, and also fly in a straight formation, as you can see in the Massachusetts video below about orbs. And so it's definitely something that's got to do with more intelligent life, obviously, because they can fly in straight patterns, okay? And if you ever saw footage that happened in England, was caught on a camera, orbs were caught on a camera making crop circles. Now, I guarantee you that footage is authentic, and a lot of people question that particular footage because the guy supposedly caught it on VHS camera. But what's very interesting about that there is no UFO or some silver platters that are flying in the air. It was basically just orbs of light, like a plasma, the one I'm describing here. And how does a person know what I've seen? And how does a person in Massachusetts know what we both saw? I mean, we don't know each other, and therefore exactly the same thing people are seeing around the world. In case you haven't seen one, then you understand what I'm talking about. All the stories are unrelated to each other. So exactly what is going on here if all those orbs are around the world look exactly the same? Now, in that footage, and I will leave the link again below for you, is what he caught on the camera was basically orbs making crop circles, showing how the actual crop suddenly shows some kind of patterns in there. And that's what's so interesting about this footage. So now we have some sort of explanation that actually is logical in a way, since orbs exist. But let me explain something more, and I want you to go, I believe here is on up here on top right, I believe, is a link to my Twitter account. And there is a picture of Illuminati symbol. Basically what you see is a shrine, and inside the shrine there's Jesus on a cross, and there's candles around it, and on top you'll see Illuminati symbol, which is so strange. And I where I saw this orbs is maybe about 5 kilometers away from there. So, and there's 3. Now, as you can see, there's 3 sides of pyramids, and I saw the 3 orbs. Okay, there was 1 orb, and suddenly 2 more came out of it. And you can see the pyramids has 3 sides where the lights, you can see hand-drawn light rays on Illuminati symbol. So, I'm not sure if that's got something to do with it, but there was three corners of a pyramid. And are they watching us? Because 3 orbs are quite common. If anybody's seen it before, like I think that happened in Phoenix lights incident. I know there was more lights, but I'm not sure if there was 3 at the beginning, and I wonder if those are the same ones that I've seen. But why are this Illuminati symbol all around the world? That's my question. What's going on? It seems like, this whole reality of ours is now becoming like a sci-fi movie. Like these lights in the sky, it's just so unnatural, just like pyramids. And as you know, Illuminati also showed us pyramids on a symbol. So this whole thing is starting to sound more and more bizarre, in my opinion. And that's why David Icke, when he talks about our society being controlled by these reptilians, it kind of starting to make a little bit more sense to me. And as you know, that I strongly believe that the government, the U.S. government, that possibly cannot even talk about this, they could be controlled by these beings, which are supposedly putting their symbol on $1 American bill, which is a man-made thing. But where is the symbol coming from, and why is it on top of our bill? There should have been a present or something else, or instead of a pyramid, but we have this strange-looking symbol there. And I explained to you what the connection with orbs, and are the orbs so deeply seated in our history that are actually controlling our government, is the sort of a question of this video here. So, and that's the reason I'm thinking that this whole thing goes a lot further than we think, and it's important to bring it up. Maybe we definitely don't know what's going on behind the U.S. government, who is controlling who. And to back it up, here you go, I'm going to tell you, so please stay with me. Bob Lazar talks about how they erased his records and information of where he was working, like Los Alamos, and certain things that the actual government themselves could not do. They had no control over this group of people who cover up his records, and the government has no power over them. So that's another example that perhaps there's a government, within the U.S. government, that actually is controlling. And like I said, David Icke talks about how this particular reptilian race is controlling our society, our government. They want to enslave us, and etc. and etc. And maybe there's, for some reasons, that they need to keep control of our because of overpopulation, and they need to be there to control of what's going on. Otherwise, maybe the whole thing won't work out. As you can see, we fight amongst each other a lot around the world, so perhaps such control is needed in order to survive. So beyond that point, I'm not going to go any further into that particular direction, but yeah, some of it is true. But however, like I said, if you think this whole thing sounds ridiculous, then what the heck are the orbs in the sky, okay? What are they? In this Massachusetts video down below, I like to show you that rather than my story is verbal. So this is actually physical evidence of orbs existing. Like I said, the color orange, and flying the straight formations, and with no noise, and you will see that below in this link. But what's interesting about this particular video, and why I chose it, because like I said, there's a message in there, and you can see the big orb separating from first of all, multiple orbs come from that big orb, which could say those were our creators at the beginning, and life was spread across the universe. Check out the message. The other orbs that came out of the main orb are showing that perhaps life was spread across the universe, and some of it landed here on Earth, and that's why just standing there down at the bottom in the middle. And later, that orb, wherever those orbs came from, out of it, life came from, is basically coming down. You see, that's the cool thing. That's the strange thing. It's coming down. It's showing that, and this is all real. This to me is authentic, because maybe about 70% of what I've seen is there in the behavior of those orbs. And you can hear orange, it's orange. I know it's annoying. That part is annoying, but it's actually very interesting. And I'll explain to you why orange later. So please stay with me a little bit more, and let's just get this out of the way. And it could also represent, yes, could be engineers, like Prometheus, Scott Ridley movie talked about. It could be engineers, but it could be also some sort of disaster heading towards the Earth, like some sort of a comet. As you know, our Earth is very familiar with that, and also the Moon is full of craters. So we know that what's going on in the universe is a lot of collisions with different rocks, planets, whatnot, and that's what's going on a lot in the universe, collisions. So that's what's interesting about this video. So it clearly shows you there's some intelligent life, because it's so symmetrical, the way it's behaving. Has a straight kind of symmetrical patterns to it, and exactly the same with crop circles. You know, they're very symmetrical, and it's some kind of communication. So you can relate this video to crop circles, and you can see the patterns are pretty much straight kind of, you know, perfectly round or square or whatnot. They're not randomized, like too random. They are randomized, but inside you will see a lot of geometry that is symmetrically perfect. So exactly the same thing in this Massachusetts video. So what is going on? Are orbs trying to say something that, you know, again, are we part of some sort of experiment? What are they trying to tell us? Could some people get control of these orbs, maybe through UFO, and they're controlling these lights in the sky, the all-seeing eye? You know, Illuminati, whoever Illuminati are. So there's many questions that can be asked regarding this phenomena. But like I said, as far as reptilian goes, now I can see the point of view of David Icke, that yes, there could be some kind of power that actually is controlling the U.S. government, the government within the government. And like I said, Bob Lazar talks about some kind of power, people with power that actual government doesn't have control of. And that's where it all boils down to this Illuminati symbol being right on an American dollar bill, right on the government money. So that's all very strange thing to me. And like I said, from the beginning of the video, if you follow me all the way here, I told you that it's so strange to see those lights in the sky. I don't know, if you think that's normal, then okay, that's fine. But to me, it's starting to sound like some kind of sci-fi movie, this whole reality of ours. And it all starts with the Illuminati symbol, okay? And that's what's so interesting about this. Now, I don't know for sure. For instance, you have, I see some footage of lizard, and then explain why, you know, we don't have much evidence of lizard. The only evidence we have is a Spider-Man movie that supposedly Spider-Man is fighting this scientist guy, 3D animation. But we don't have much of that kind of footage. And I'll explain to you why again. Is simply because it's hard to animate characters in general. So if you don't have any background in a classical animation, it will be very difficult for you to make a walk cycle. There's just too many bones inside that you have to animate, and if you're not an expert at it, it's just not going to look right. So of course we only have a little percentage of those kind of footage, and then we have 90% of the rest of the YouTube is basically just UFOs, because basically you're animating one object, and moving it to another coordinates, and then save the key, and that's it, and you have a flying UFO. So it's very simple to fake. Again, another example what the problems with with this reptilians is basically that maybe the maybe the Illuminati symbol should have been a lizard eye rather than a human eye. If that's the case, if the reptilians are behind it. So I know it will look weird, but why are they not doing that kind of symbol on an American dollar bill? Just a thought. But then you have some footage that looks kind of authentic. You see a lizard running through in a sewer across the camera, and you see it has a tail, and it looks gray, and it kind of looks like a lizard, but what's very interesting, to say the least, is if there is such reptilians that David Icke talks about being in high places such as government and upper level of societies, then again, what are they doing in the sewer? So that is the question. I know I heard a little bit about them living in the ground, inside the earth, and supposedly they're at war with the alien race, and supposedly they're mixed with the human race, so some people have lizard DNA, and that's where all these stories about Mark Zuckerberg being reptilian, and Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Beyonce, and so forth. So that's where all the stories about lizard people or reptilians come from. But because of the mixing of race with lizard, the human race with lizards, so they can, and therefore this shape-shifting ideology comes from, because they're able to shape-shift or change eye pupils, and because of the reptilian DNA. But when you see a lot of this footage about reptilians, which again is a problem, we don't have any evidence of any kind that is really solid. And like I explained to you, why we don't see it much, because again, animating such character is difficult, and people just don't bother doing it, and they rather animate a fake UFO. Now, what's very interesting let me explain to you why they don't do it, and they just do they will try to make the news reporter look like a lizard, or celebrity trying to change their eye pupils into lizard. And because it's pretty much easy to do, they're just distorting somebody's facial features, and then say that it's actually the person actually lizard. And you see so much of that on the internet. It's not even funny here on YouTube. So that is the problem with this whole scene of reptilian scene. You can't find any vile footage that can actually prove that such a race exists, but we see so much of this orb footage. See, that's what I'm talking about. So I would relate orbs to Illuminati symbol a lot more, because we actually have evidence, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and a lot of people has. It's not something special that I thought it would be. It's common around the world. So much footage about these orbs are coming out, and like I said before, I explained to you why they have orange. They like to use light color of orange, and that's how they communicate. Because if the light would be red, we probably would have some other idea of what this thing might be. It might actually be more mechanical at its core. Or if it was green, then we would assume probably we would have a different opinion on them. But orange is a very friendly color. It's representing something like peace, because orange color is a friendly color, a warm color. So I believe that's how they communicate, and I will talk more about communication and how they talk to us. Again, it all ties in with crop circles, colors they display, and the speed that sometimes they're showing off with, and what are they trying to say to us as far as that goes. And as you know, if anything, aliens are not, they're highly sophisticated beings because they had a head start in evolution, and therefore they can possess such technology, which is described by Bob Lazar, and he talks about that a lot, how these UFOs actually work, able to bend gravity and distort time and space, and supposedly, traveling the speed of light and so forth, and containing antimatter. So check out my other videos if you'd like to see what more was said about Bob Lazar's story, to what conclusions I got. So but that's pretty much what I would like to leave you with right now, to think about this orb phenomena and how reptilian race supposedly could tie in with this, and what is going on here. Are we some part of an experiment? The orbs are real, they're in the sky, they look unusual, and what is the explanation about this? Even NASA said they don't know what it is. They've seen many of those things over the years. These are pretty much exact words, and they have no idea what they are. But again, I strongly think they actually connect to Illuminati symbol, and they're probably controlling the US government. And I'm gonna leave it at that for now. And all I want to say to you, thank you if you follow me all the way up until now. If you do have something to say regarding this orb phenomena or reptilians, please comment down below and give it a thumbs up if you actually like what I'm saying here or agree with it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would like to say for now. And I also post videos every day, every second day. There's also always something new that I try to get to the bottom of, and this channel is dedicated more to the facts, trying to connect the dots rather than entertainment. Sorry about that. But trying to get to the reality of things, and I'll try to decode anything that comes my way that it doesn't look natural, in our society, such as pyramids or orbs or reptilians, UFOs, aliens, and I talk a lot about that and what really is going on here. And so do check my videos, Barney and Betty Hill versus Bob Lazar, or Bob Lazar, Zeta Reticuli 2, Decoded, if you want to check more what's going on as far as Zeta Reticuli goes. It's very interesting how I connect the dots there. You might be interested in that because it does make a little bit of sense. And all these three stories they don't know each other, but yet they talk about the same planet, Zeta Reticuli. So how is that possible? Do they know each other? Did Bob Lazar know? Betty Hill, did they know each other? Or did Bob Lazar get that information from Betty Hill? Because that happened in 1961. And, his story sort of came out in late 1980s, and so forth. So I'm just saying that's what you will be expecting from my channel if you're into deep thoughts as far as UFO goes, okay? So for now, just think about that orbs that are flying in the sky, supposedly watching us all. And yeah, and I'll talk more about that in my next video, I suppose, or perhaps something else, but I'll try to find something that will be interesting. And for now, if you like the show, like I said, thank you very much for following me all the way till now. There's a lot of talk here, and I talk too much, I realize. And if you like, you can subscribe here at the bottom right and give it a thumbs up, whichever you like. That will be, of course, appreciated. Okay, so thank you very much. And I'll talk to you. Please come back again and see what's going on, or hit that notification button. Yeah, that's what I should say. Okay, cheers. Thanks very much. Peace.